Hello, this is cjhoyle. Today is Saturday, April the 10th, 2021, and I'm riding my bike here on a street called the Queensway, and I'm heading in the east direction, and I'm just gonna merge onto King Street West, which is the furthest western point of King Street West, and this is sort of in the neighborhood known as Parkdale, although King Street kind of verges to the south here, and we get away from Parkdale. It's a pretty neat part of King Street because you've got a nice row of old houses over there on the left, and on the right side though we have a sort of a cliff that drops down with a really nice view of the waterfront, which I guess right now is kind of obstructed by parked cars, but you would have seen that a moment ago before the parked cars. That intersection back there is the merger of four roadways. The first two I mentioned, the Queensway and King Street West. But if we were to go straight as opposed to curving south, the Queensway would have turned into Queen Street West. And to the north of that intersection, there's also Roncesvalles, which is what King Street curves and becomes, which is a north-south street. Here, once again, you can see to the right the nice view overlooking the waterfront. So back earlier this year, I made a video where I rode my bike along Queen Street West, and I started up at that same intersection and I rode in the same direction that I'm riding now, but I followed Queen Street instead of King Street. A little bit of a hill to climb here. Otherwise, King Street's a pretty flat street for the most part. That intersection where we started is also kind of under construction right now. There's a lot of construction barricades, and that very first stretch of Queen Street West is actually completely closed right now. They've got the road, all torn up. I guess they're, rebuilding the surface under the road. Both Queen Street and King Street both have streetcar lines which run in the east-west direction along them. That's what those tracks that you can see over to my left are for. Although it seems like they're mostly running shuttle buses today, because I've seen quite a few buses along this route. So we're just about at Jameson Avenue, which is a north-south street which almost lines up with Lansdowne Avenue, which is further to the north. The video that I posted from last week was a tour of Lansdowne Avenue, and that video terminated when it reached Queen Street West, which is where Lansdowne ends. But just sort of beyond that intersection, it sort of jogs a little bit, and then there's this Jameson, which kind of continues from there. We're just waiting for these. Well, I'm waiting. It's a red light right now, so I'm waiting my turn for that to turn green, but I've got these two TTC, Toronto Transit Commission buses that are straight in front of me. I can see on some of the street signs here, they say Village of Parkdale, 1879. So before Parkdale was part of Toronto, it was its own separate village. But it didn't really last for a village that long before it was amalgamated as part of the city. Got another red light here at Close Avenue. Over there on the left, we can see the Holy Family Catholic Church. And there's our green light. in this video I'm planning on riding as far as Bathurst Street, and the reason I chose there is because about a month ago I made another video on King Street, but I started on the east side of King Street at the eastern terminus, and I rode in the west direction in that video, and I went as far as Bathurst Street. So in this video I'm going to get back to where I ended that one, and I'll kind of filling in the part of King Street that I have not yet shown on video yet. I have to say I don't particularly ride my bike on King Street an awful lot. So I'm definitely not an expert on the history or the geography of this area. But I'm sure some of you who are watching the video know lots of things that I don't, so feel free to leave any fun facts in the comment section below. Seem to be getting every red light along here. Guess my speed just is not very well matched with the way that they have these traffic lights programmed along this stretch of King. So you can see it's a pretty nice day out, and there's lots of people out walking, enjoying the nice weather. We are in a stay-at-home order right now here in the province of Ontario. They just sort of changed the rules again for the COVID-19 pandemic response just a few days ago. So you're really supposed to stay home except for going out for essential things, and one of those essential things though is exercise, which is really important. And of course that's my reason for being out here today. I'm out riding my bike, getting some exercise, and I'm sure lots of other people who are out walking today are doing the same. Well, that streetcar's running today. That was Dufferin Street that we just passed there, which is a major north-south street. So we're now approaching an area known as Liberty Village. This big brick building over on the left, that's a big building that's used by the City of Toronto for their public works vehicles and things. I imagine things like snow plows and, you know, park maintenance equipment and stuff like that gets parked there. And over here on the right is the Landport Stadium, which is a sporting complex. Well, there's a red light. I'll just ride my bike over here so you can see there. So that's used by lots of different sporting teams, including, I believe, the Toronto Argonauts CFL football team. That's their practice stadium. And I think there's rugby games and things that happen there as well. We've got a little bit of a hill to go down here. So Liberty Village is more over to my right. You know, it's sort of a neighborhood that was originally very industrial. It had a lot of different factories and things there. It also had some prisons on the site of where that stadium now sits. There used to be a women's prison, and there was also a men's prison there as well. And apparently the name Liberty Village came from a street named Liberty Street, which is the first street that one of the convicts who had been released would be walking down when they were let out of prison. So we're now about to go underneath of a big long railway bridge. These are the tracks of the CN rail line, which carries, among other things, the trains that serve the GO train lines which go to Milton, to Kitchener, to Barrie, and to the Toronto Pearson International Airport, the Union Pearson Express. So now we're at another red light that just turned green. This is for Sudbury Street. We've got a bit of a hill to climb. Not much of one. So yeah, just to finish what I was saying about Liberty Village, so, you know, it was used for a lot of, you know, industrial and institutional purposes for a long time, but it's about 15 or 20 years ago it started being transformed into a neighborhood where people live, and the population there is, you know, kind of exploded quite a bit. Some of the housing is new buildings, but some of it is also loft buildings that are built inside of those old factories. For example, there's a carpet factory that now has residential units inside of it. So yeah, it's a really nice day to be out here. This is the first video that I'm recording of 2021 where I'm wearing both shorts and a short sleeve shirt. The temperatures are in the 20 degrees Celsius sort of range today. There is a bit of wind though. Comparing that to last weekend where when I was leaving for my ride it was right around 0 degrees Celsius. And I was wearing gloves and even some earmuffs to start that ride out. I did end up taking them off eventually, but that's what the temperature was when I was starting. So this park here over on the right is called Stanley Park, and you can see there's quite a few people out there sitting in their own little circles, enjoying the beautiful, sunny, warm weather. I really wasn't expecting it to be this nice today. When I was looking at the weather forecast on Friday night before the weekend, I was seeing that both Saturday and Sunday were supposed to be kind of rainy, which I wasn't too thrilled about, but I was pleasantly surprised this morning to check again and see that they had changed that recommendation to say that there would be no rain for all of today, or at least maybe until tonight, but during the day it's beautiful out here. So now we're getting more into the sort of downtown core area. You can see that the buildings are getting a bit taller, and some of that sunshine is being hidden by those buildings now. There certainly are lots of cars around me, but I think there's significantly less cars than there would be if we weren't in a stay-at-home order during a pandemic. So that's the reason why I'm trying to film roads like this lately in my videos, because I figure, you know, now's my opportunity to experience these roads without too many cars on them, when it's more pleasant to ride on than it would be otherwise. We're just waiting up ahead for a traffic light at Tecumseh. Starting to move now. Oh, that car was turning left. All right, here we go. And here's Tecumseh Street. At least I think that's how you pronounce that word. I've heard it pronounced different ways by different people in different places. And that road which is up ahead where the next traffic light is Bathurst Street. And that's where I'm going to end this video, so I hope you enjoyed joining me on this narrated tour of King Street West here in Toronto. If you watched all the way to the end of this video, I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comment section below, and thanks for watching.